Stephanie, what did you think about your team's effort defensively, the connectiveness there, and also the connectiveness on offense? When we talked about playing .5 basketball, it looked more like that tonight.
Yeah, I thought we were really connected on both ends. I thought our sense of urgency was better, our activity level was better, our communication, defensively. We made things as tough as we could for them. They're a great team, obviously, and offensively, our second half was much better, taking care of the ball, moving it. We had a 77% assist rate, and that's what we have to do. We've got to get the ball moving. We've got to get multiple touches. We've got to get it from one side of the floor to the other and get everybody involved, and then that's how we find success.
Steph, do you feel like tonight was kind of a weight lifted off the team after that last performance and a sign of, hey, this is what we're capable of?
Yeah, I think so. We've been talking all year about, building consistency. This is game 2 with our whole roster, with everybody in our rotation, for sure. And we still haven't had a practice with everybody, right? So I think building consistency, consistency in habits for us, continuing to work consistency in rotation. Now that C's back, now that Didi's back, what does it look like? I thought Didi and AB played really well together today. I like that lineup, particularly against Atlanta with 2 bigs. I like the combination of what they bring to the table. And so it's one game. It was a big one. We needed it, but we got to continue to stack days and build on it.
I know after Wednesday's game you mentioned the lack of competitive fire, and then Sophie on Thursday talked about wanting to light a fire under your butts. Just how did you see that competitiveness come out today?
Yeah, I mean, it was there in shoot around today. They had great energy. They had a pep in their step, and I think they did from the jump. And we didn't allow breakdowns or runs to quote unquote crush our spirit, right? It's like we bounced back and we made runs of our own. We answered them, and that's a sign of growth. But that's what it takes in this league. I mean, it's not peaks and valleys. I mean, it's going to ebb and flow, and teams are going to make runs, and we've got to be able to respond. And I thought we did a much better job of that tonight. We did not shoot the ball particularly well in the first half, and we stayed confident, and we took our shots, and we let the ball find the right shot.
Steph, I asked you before the game about Aaliyah's playmaking and 8 assists tonight for her. What did you like about her and Kelsey Mitchell specifically with that 2-man combination? The handoffs, the screens, they seemed like they were on the same page.
Yeah, with AB, Kels, and C, really, those 3 play so well together. But AB just makes really good decisions. She doesn't usually get rushed. She doesn't take chances typically. She makes the right play and the right read, and I trust her in those situations where she's facilitating and where she's got the ball in her hands. I trust her bringing the ball up the floor, and so as she continues to grow more confident in this role that she's playing, I mean, I think you're going to just continue to see her flourish. Like, I know she's a different kind of player, but I told her before the season started, it's like we want to use you kind of like Jokic, right, to play through you and for you to be able to score and facilitate from multiple places on the floor. The thing that I loved the most was that 3 that she stepped into and just let it fly, right? Like that's her continuing to play confident basketball. There was no hesitation. There was no thought. It was just, I'm open, I'm going to shoot it. And I want her to continue to play like that.
Sophie and Kelsey talked about the chemistry of this group and how it's unlike anything that they've really experienced in their career. How has that looked to you as a coach, just this group's chemistry? Yeah,
it's huge. It's important. It's why we've been able to navigate a lot of disruption, a lot of adversity, is because they're a tight knit group. They like each other. They're for each other. They get along well. But that stuff off the floor doesn't matter if you can't put it together on the floor. And I think that they've done a really good job of giving one another grace in tough situations and pulling one another along and lifting one another up. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Has that come naturally, the giving each other grace and kind of working through those ebbs and flows, or is that taking time to come together through the adversity early in the year?
I think for some people, I mean, just like regular human beings, like, right? For some people, it's natural to give grace. For others, it's not, and you've got to be really intentional about it and in specific moments. And there's a humility involved, and every single person, that's on our team, coaches, players, everybody. I mean, there's an ego that gets you to this point, right? But to be able to sacrifice that ego and have enough humility to make it about the we over the me, sometimes that's a learned behavior, and some people have it naturally. And we've worked really, really hard, and they've worked really hard to be able to, no matter what the circumstance, maintain that and be intentional about that.
So I have a question about the matchup with Atlanta. You're split the season now 2-2. You beat them in the preseason, but you won't see them again. You're 2 games behind them in conference. Was there talk about that going into this game, that you needed to get that win against them? And then how do you feel about not playing them again the rest of the season?
Well, I feel like we played them 17 times already. So there wasn't really talk about that. I mean, we were really focused on us become a better ball club, right? Us having a high attention to detail in our defensive coverage and making sure that our attention to detail in our scout was elite. It was about us continuing to work to move the basketball, to get multiple players involved, to less about exploiting matchups and more about finding rhythm and finding flow and finding continuity and connectivity on both ends of the floor. And I think we took a step forward today. We've had some matchup problems with Atlanta, with their bigs and with their different lineups, and I thought that we just did a really good job of handling the ebbs and flows and the runs and locking down when we needed to.
When Caitlin doesn't have her shot going, she seems to always consistently find a way to create for others and make plays. What are the conversations like in the huddle when you're trying to kind of keep that from affecting other aspects of her game?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, and I don't mean, it doesn't mean anything that I'm not worried about Caitlin's shot, but I'm not worried about Caitlin's shot. She's recovering from injury. She plays heavy, hard minutes. Every defensive assignment, every defensive scout, she's the top of the scouting report. So her shot quality that she's getting has not been great. And we're just so used to seeing her make tough shots. And to be able to do that while she's recovering from injury is gonna be more difficult. That's part of the reason that we want to try to make her life easier and get her some easier looks. And it's going to continue to be hard because every defensive game plan is to not allow those. So for her to stay patient, I thought she did a really good job of attacking the rim. Not just settling for tough, long jumpers. She always does a really good job of finding her teammates. And then we just have to help, navigate her own frustration because she's a perfectionist, as most elite players are, and she needs to be able to give herself grace in those moments. But every shot she shoots looks like it's going into me.